you know, Holt is more of an activist than a law enforcement official. At this point, I think everybody would agree with that. He's got an agenda. He doesn't like the law. He has a right to say it, but he doesn't have a right to interfere in Florida politics, that's for sure.
I watched you with Tavis Smiley last night. You asked him to come on. He came on, to his credit. Basically, he thinks that society, American society, is targeting the black male.
Absolutely, and this is, he sincerely believes that, and you're not going to change his mind. He believes that black males are persecuted and singled out for scorn and scrutiny. And I'm saying to him, listen, you know, there is a reason why these things happen. It's not always justifiable. We have to be honest about the history in this country of race relations. But now, I mean, the evidence is the evidence, you know? And you can't use past historical injustice to complain about a verdict. It was clearly a fair trial, all right? It was clearly...
He even admitted it.
Yeah, he said it was a fair trial, but then they always hedge, well, this could have been happening. And I'm saying to myself, listen, you know, problems are problems. You got to solve them. I'm sorry that Trayvon Martin is dead, and I'm sorry his family has to go through this hell. And it should have never happened. But you don't convict a guy of murder unless you have overwhelming evidence that he's guilty, and they didn't. Period. No. Period.
So are you sympathetic to their viewpoint at all, though?
Sure I am. I mean, of course I'm sympathetic to it. I mean, if you lose a child, that is the worst thing that can happen to parents on earth. Of course I'm sympathetic to it.
Earlier on the program, we had Deneen Borelli, who is a black conservative and a Fox News contributor. She was weighing in on the NAACP convention. She and her husband tried to get in and speak. They would not allow it. She says they've got an agenda that seems to essentially want to keep blacks as victims. Here's a soundbite, and then Bill's reaction.
That's what the NAACP and the rest of the black liberal establishment does not want the black community to hear. They want blacks to be victims and to think that there's racism and that they can't get ahead, and really it's a lie. They continue to push the same message of moving people back with the mindset and what they do versus moving people forward.
What do you think? Do you think
I think it's true. I mean, it's an industry, in the grievance industry. That's what I call it. And there's a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of power in it. So why are the NAACP, I think they should be watchdogs, and they should be looking out for their crew. But they're not going to basically say, okay, yeah, we're going to hear another point of view, and we want to see this, because it's a business. They're in business. That's what they do. That's how they get paid. Same thing with the liberal commentators and the mainstream media. They're never going to go against who they believe their audience is. And the right does this as well, but not as much. So you've got to understand that there's a grievance industry, and that industry is going to kick in whenever there's a minority controversy.
So as long as, you know, according to the FBI, no instances of racism in George Zimmerman's...
They investigated, and they came to the conclusion there wasn't anything there.
During the court case, no evidence of racism.
Nothing presented.
And yet, a lot of channels, they're talking about how, look at this terrible racist country we're living in.
And the people who do that.
And George Zimmerman, Exhibit A.
And the people who do that are dishonest. Flat out dishonest.
And a lot of, Bill, a lot of celebrities have been coming out. They're outraged about this, from Rihanna to will.i.am. Stevie Wonder saying he's not going to be performing in Florida at all because
and why do you think they're doing that? Because they want to sell product to people who feel that way.
And a lot of people say the liberal media is doing the same thing.
Of course. It's all business. As I said last night in Talking Points, remember, it's bad for business to go against your crew. If the minority crew believes this was an injustice, a guy like Stevie Wonder or Rihanna or whoever it is isn't going to say you're wrong. It's bad for business. They don't know what happened.
But what about the fact that Stevie Wonder says, I'm not going to go to perform in any state where they have stand your ground laws?
He's knocked out 30 states.
That's 30 states.
He's got 20 left.
Well, I don't know how much demand Stevie's in right now.
All right.
With all due respect,
come on,
he's a genius, but I don't know if we're going to miss him.
Right, we're not sure.
Okay.
But look, it's his right. If he feels that strongly about it, don't perform there. I don't have any beef with Stevie Wonder. I do have a beef with people who are dishonest and playing to a certain sentiment to make money. And that's what it's all about.
And do you think people are hypocritical, too? Kim Kardashian coming out on Twitter saying, my heart goes out to Trayvon Martin's family and loved ones. Thoughts and prayers being sent their way. Hashtag no justice. But then on the flip side, Steve, a lot of people are coming out saying this.
Somebody else tweeted, clava cake. who probably watches your show, Bill, as well, said, how ironic. Remember when your father, Kim Kardashian, helped O.J. Simpson walk free? No justice there either.
Well, I think everybody takes Kim Kardashian very seriously.
Right.
So.
Especially you.
It's kooky.
You know, again, it's frustrating to those of us who want a fair play, all right? Because the media isn't fair, and it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's not about Trayvon Martin. It's about the money. And then the politicians use the poor boy's death to push gun control or whatever they want to push. So Trayvon Martin's being exploited now. All right? They're exploiting him. Mm-hmm. And it's wrong. And I've been doing this for the last 3. I'm going to continue to do my newspaper columns on it this week, and we're going to call him out.